We on camera.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It'll have to be.
Okay, here we are live. Hi, me, Rabbi Brian. It says so right there at the bottom of the screen somewhere. This is the Saturday service. If you are on, I don't really know why I have this link, because if you're seeing this link, that means you're probably there already. We moved. That's why, because we moved Facebook. We moved Facebook account, so we're trying to get everyone to stream. I was streaming to more than one location, and I wanted to have everyone streaming in the same one place. So hello, Facebook. And we had some discussion on Facebook last week, which was exciting. And let me...
Have some for this week already.
And let me... Thank you for doing that, Joe.
You're welcome.
Let me show here the people who are logged on live on Zoom. People, wave both hands today so they know it's live, because that makes it real. I don't know. Welcome. Glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to take a little breath of air, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to start by saying, last Sunday, I went to the supermarket, and it was about 4:15 when I went into the supermarket. And when I left the supermarket, it was dark, and I fell down a little, you know, that emotional rabbit hole? I slipped down an emotional rabbit hole like this. I just started to slip down. And I felt my mood, and I was tanking. And by the time I got home, I was full-blown sad. I felt the way that I had felt when I needed to take meds for depression. I didn't know how long it was going to last. I thought it was related to the winter solstice. It winds up now, I can see that it passed, but I had to contemplate on last Sunday, oh, wow, I'm going to run the Saturday service completely depressed. Well, that will be a new experience. But I really had a really hard time. I found myself, as the kids say it, I found myself on the struggle bus. And I don't understand the struggle bus very much, how we get on the struggle bus. I think we just wind up on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
Would just wind up on the struggle bus. And I did really good self-care, and this is me bragging, or this is just me telling, but I texted a bunch of really close folks, and I said, I'm having a really hard time. It might be winter solstice, but I'm tanking right now. And I got a phone call on Monday from a dear Rabbi colleague friend, Debbie, and Debbie said, oh, I'm sorry you're having a hard time. And I heard myself say something. I was so shocked and surprised and delighted with myself, and I wanted to share it. I said to Debbie, I don't really feel like talking on the phone right now. And Debbie said, oh, that's fine. We don't have to talk. And it was this moment of setting a small boundary and taking care of myself, of knowing what it was that I wanted and how to take care of myself. And it helped me to feel a little bit better. I also had Emmett had a trunk of things that he was getting rid of, some old magic tricks, and a 6th grade friend of the family was going to come over. And I just did this thing where I said, hey, I texted to Everett's parents. I said, would you please tell Everett that I cannot do that today with him? Now, could I have? Of course, I could have squeezed some space and some time out of myself. But I did this thing where I took care of myself, and I said no. And we talked about this last week. We had a lot of people reading the same phrase over and over again. We had people saying this thing, I can be a kind person and still say no. And I'm delighted this week to tell you, hey, I did that in the last week. I said no in the last week. And I'm proud of myself.
You should be.
Thank you, Meg. I'm wondering if there's anyone else who's got a moment of proud.
I
Maria.
don't have a moment of proud, but it's not streaming on Facebook.
That has nothing to do with me being proud.
I know. Sorry.
Facebook.
I wouldn't say something about being proud.
Well, hold on, Michael. Hold on, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm prioritizing the wrong thing at the moment.
What's up?
It looks to me like streaming. There's at least one person watching it. Religion Outside the Box Facebook group page.
That's me.
Who is that? That's Joe.
Yeah.
If it's your first time joining us here at Religion Outside the Box Land, welcome. Very human. No, it looks like it's streaming to me. I don't know. Fuck. Groups.
No, you are streaming.
I am streaming?
I can see it on my phone. Yeah.
Thank you, Anne. Okay. So we are streaming. And yay.
Right.
So let's go back to Michael. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
You were just saying something.
Well, I was saying, I don't know if it's synchronicity, but I had the same experience yesterday, which surprised me because the day before that was very, very high. But yeah, but hearing you talk about it reminds me. Because I was feeling, oh God, I got through that. Now I'm glad I got through that today. But Harry, you retell your story about what I had.
The struggle bus.
The struggle bus.
Yeah, let me see.
Let me say one last thing. It kind of shakes me. It shakes me thinking, oh my God, the struggle bus is not so far away.
Yeah. How many of you in the last week?
That kind of shook me.
How many of you in the last week found yourselves on the struggle bus some? Can you take a look at that? That's at least half of the people at least half of the people were on the struggle bus last week. That opens up some great compassion in my heart. And I hope it gives you a little bit of solace that I shared mine, Michael shared his. We're all having a hard time. And I'm glad we're having a hard time, because if we were just whistling Dixie all the time, there'd be something a little off. Go ahead, Ray. You got your hand up.
Well, there's a friend at work, not at work, at church, and he and I had been to lunch a couple of times. And for whatever reason, he has moved from where he was. So he says to me on a text, "Hey, Ray, maybe you have extra room. I rented from you. It'd help you," because he knows that Patty had died.
Okay, not everyone knew that little piece. So if you didn't know that, Ray's beloved Patty died in the last week.
Oh, no.
Thank you for telling us, Ray. Keep going with your story. It's your
so
story,
I thought about it, and I talked to some of the wonderful family that I have in this group. And so I texted him back and said, I thought about it. No, thank you.
Good on you. Good on you.
So, and I felt better about that because it gave me space, and also said to myself, you stood up for yourself and what you really wanted.
Good for you, Ray. Good for you. Other people, did you have a moment in the last week? Emily, what happened? Talk to us.
Two people, I asked them to please not ask me how I feel when they greet me. People say, "Hi, Emily, how are you?" And two people, I asked them not to ask me that question, but rather to simply make a statement out of it.
And they did that, or we're just proud
They
of
just
you?
said that Well, one of them sort of argued with me. The other one said, "Oh, yeah,
And so you made a request to how you wanted to be treated.
right,"
That's
because I don't like that question. It's a non-question.
Yeah. Wonderful. Who else took care of themselves in the last week? Yeah, Jack?
Yeah, two houses over, two homes over from us on the east side have set up a little farm, and they're cock crows at 3:15 in the morning, at 4:15 in the morning, and 5:15, whatever. And Marge and I were discussing what we should do about it. We know there's an ordinance against it, having a rooster. You can have chickens, but you can't have a rooster. So it took me 2 or 3 days to just go over and knock on the lady's door. And I don't like confrontation because I get very upset inside and end up not even be able to talk straight. But I hung in there, and she answered, and we talked, and she was aware that I knew of the ordinance, and she was aware of the ordinance. So she said, "Oh, give me a couple of days." Well, a couple of days have passed, and the cock was still crowing. So I've got to make another decision whether to call City Hall and register a complaint or go over and knock on her door again.
Yeah. I have a great recipe for coq au vin that you might leave
Exactly.
on your doorstep.
The thought that was going through my mind.
Good for you, Jack. It's hard to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
A lot of us really good at taking care of other people. Taking care of ourselves, not so easy. I want to finish this picture that I have. Here is me sliding onto the struggle bus. And here's me coming back up. And I learned this from, I have usual Larry, who I quote. This is from a different gentleman named Larry. This is Larry in Tucson. And Larry said, what happens often in our life is we start falling down, slipping down. And what Larry says we do is we try to claw onto the wall on our way down so that we don't fall down the hole so far. And Larry says that as he got older, and this is what I did on Sunday, and I just let myself be sad Sunday night and just let myself be sad on Monday, is if you don't claw onto the wall going down and you let yourself just feel the feelings, then you have a little bit of momentum on the way back up. I don't know the science behind this. I don't have a control group. I don't have an exact twin who did it the other way than I did. I just have a sense as I have been doing this more in my life, and the more I just allow myself to feel the feelings, the easier I seem to be able to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're unconsciously taking care of yourself.
I'm taking care of myself.
Mm. Yeah.
So I offer that as a little bit of wisdom, wisdom today. And that's what this service is really about. This service, I heard from someone, I had used the phrase that in a service, in a religious life, we want to be more pilgrims and less tourists. That a pilgrim sees miracles on the walk as they go. And a tourist goes to the church and just points at relics and icons. And the way that this person reframed what I said was that what this Saturday service is it's not about entertainment. Sure, it might be entertaining, but that this service is about transformation.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I don't know what it is you need to be working on. We had this a few weeks ago, and I said, what's your homework for this week? And someone said, I don't know what Rabbi, you didn't tell us what our homework is. And I said, well, I don't know what your homework is. That's for you to know. So I'm going to ask you this week to keep track of little bits of wisdom as they come out. And then at the end, in about a half hour, we'll have a little bit of time for review of what are we going to take with us? What's the moral for us for today? Ron, what do you got, bud?
I was just going to say that I think that, we spend a lot of time not trying to suppress our emotions for
Yes,
whatever.
we do. We spend a lot of time and effort
And
trying
so
to
when we
suppress
talk
our
about
emotions.
you talk about going down, sliding down, and then getting some, I think just feeling our emotions and being here now will help us come back up.
Yes,
All emotions.
all emotions. I'm with you.
I was thinking that since we're sort of talking about a bus, sometimes instead of trying to jump off the bus, maybe it's better to sit on the bus and experience what you experience until you reach your destination.
Yeah, good.
And then get off.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Very
All
good.
emotions, and I have
like
I
that.
have a very little friend named Javi, and he's very little because he was born within the last 6 months. And Javi, I got to go over to his house Monday night, and I got to hold him, and he has all the emotions. He doesn't know
Yes.
why he's having them, but all of a sudden he starts to get scared and he starts to cry and then he starts to giggle and the emotions seemingly happen to him. And I remember when I saw Emmett and Annie and they were sleeping as little babies and they would laugh in their sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think, what the hell is funny to an 11-month-old in his dreams? Like, why is that? But the emotions just happen to us. And I think, Ron, what you and I forgot who, and Ray were saying is just to live all of these emotions, to live them real. Emotions are our response to being alive. Emotions are a response to being alive. And what we can do is we cannot feel any of them. We can put a wet blanket over all of them when we don't want to feel a certain emotion. We can stop all of them. And that's literally why it was called depression, is we can press all of the feelings down so we don't feel. But the problem is not only are you pushing out the negative emotions, but you push down and you don't feel joy either. And you don't feel any of the emotions. Well, go
Brian,
ahead, Emily.
One of the things that I found because I have been practicing saying when I'm depressed, simply just saying it, telling people I'm depressed today or feeling down. People are trying to cheer you up, and it's like that's the worst thing.
So what do you say back? So you say, I'm having a hard time. That's what I said to my, and I only
just feel
texted,
really down.
Go ahead. And then they say, oh, but it's sunshiny. It's Christmas, Emily. How are you not feeling great? It's Christmas. And you say, what do you say back?
I'm just don't know what to say.
Yeah. I might be a little bit more catty than you and say, I wonder why it is you're so uncomfortable with my not being joyous that you feel the need to change me.
Well, anyway,
it might be a little much.
Yeah, a little much.
but how's this? Try me next time I'm depressed. I dare you to try to cheer me up. What do we need when we're depressed is we just need somebody to listen. We need somebody to hear. And sometimes that can even just be ourselves. And when we try to get ourselves off the struggle bus, as Ray was saying, as opposed to just riding it. Go ahead, Missy.
I don't think it's a little too much. I think, that sometimes that might give people pause for sure, but it also might give them some insight into what is going on that we are trying to make everything okay when it's just not.
Yeah.
And it's just not sometimes. And that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, whoever said it, it's that it's okay to not be okay, that you like to say. It's just, yeah.
We can
there's an inauthenticity for me in people who are always trying to make everything be happy. And I don't connect to those people. And I think I think it's kind of sad. They're missing like the depth of their own life.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and how
Misty.
many
Go ahead.
times?
Hold on a second. Lee's got her hand up.
Yeah, so where I come from, a little bit different from you guys, because being on the spectrum, I've never really known how to feel. It's really only been since my diagnosis, and honestly, it's been in the last year I finally found the right therapist for me, who showed me the wheel of emotions. It's something I had experienced before, working for early childhood intervention, but never really took to heart. But I printed out a bunch of them, and they're up on I think I've said this before in this service, is I have a bunch of them stuck up on the walls in my apartment, because
it helps. It helps.
where I come from, RB, I've got the emotions on training wheels.
Lee, I'm with you. I have right here, I just was able to reach it. I have my little cheat sheet of what all my emotions are, so that I can look at them again. Because I didn't grow up with them. We decided to raise our children with emotions as a second language. Like, my children can speak emotions pretty clearly. I still need my cheat sheet. I need a little bit of help, because it doesn't come to me. I have a feeling that you, whoever the you are who's listening to this, might also have the same issue, where you didn't learn all your emotions all so well, and you had to start piecing them together. Okay.
You should send us your cheat sheet.
Well, let's
right there in the chat, Michael.
Thank you. For
That's my cheat sheet anyway.
All right, so forget my notes. I do want to, before I go here, I want to take a moment, share this, why I'm doing what we're doing, why we're looking at all these things now. Please tell me that's in focus.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The goal is to develop spiritual stamina. We're not defining what that phrase means, but I think you'll understand, and you do understand. The goal is to develop spiritual stamina so that when a problem occurs, I don't react out of emotion, but from wisdom. That we're not reacting as much as we are responding. And John, that is another example of where there's a distinction without much of a difference. We are reacting. We're not reacting, but we're responding. And I think we know what we're talking about, that we're trying to develop spiritual stamina. We're trying to learn these things so that the next time we're angry, we can say, oh, wow, I'm feeling angry, as opposed to, and attacking somebody. Okay, so let's take a moment to, you know what I'm going to do when I take a moment? This is going to be new. Congratulations, me. This is a new one. I'm going to take a moment to just take a moment.
Yeah.
I had this idea that I was going to give each of you a gift. I'm going to do that. Okay, that's what we're going to do. And then Al, I'll be right with you, but this is going to take me 5 minutes, so you're going to have to bear with.
Lots of gifts.
I didn't hear that.
Lots of gifts in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Here comes the gift. Did that show? Here's a timer. I can do a 1 minute timer, and then I'll reset it. So there will be 4 more of these. But here's the gift, and it's going to take me a moment. The gift is, I'm going to give you each and every one of you is going to get 4 minutes. I'm going to gift you 4 minutes. And you will be able to use these 4 minutes either all at once, or what I suggest is that you parse them out a little bit at a time. So somebody says something snarky at the dinner table, you reach into your imaginary bag and you take out one of the seconds of the 4 minutes that I'm giving you, and you apply it there. Here's where you get those 4 minutes. Remember I said I was going to do a 5-minute timer? I'm not. I was only doing a 1-minute timer. So the extra 4 minutes that are about to happen, those are my gift to you.
Thank you.
Hey, crap, that was timed pretty damn well. So that's my gift. And if I could really give any of you a gift, I would give you each a minute. I'd give you 4 minutes of time just to use any way you want. I'm not going to reiterate because that feels like I'm now taking your time away from you. Al, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going back to the last quote you just put up. The not reacting out of emotion. Is that maybe reflecting a fear of emotion? Like, to me, wisdom is emotion. Wisdom involves emotion.
Right.
Yeah,
and reacting out of wisdom to me is also reacting out of emotion.
Okay,
and that's a good kind of thing.
You're not wrong. I'm going to use this quote that we had last week. It's okay to be angry, just try to do it. Just try not to do it when we're mad. Try to not do it. I split the infinitive and nobody pointed that out last week. Oh my goodness. It's okay to be angry, just try to not do it when you're mad. Yeah, I think the wisdom part is to be mad without being mean, is not to have that emotional response. I feel like I might have been ships passing in the night there, Al. Help me.
Yeah, no, I think it's related. But to me, like, when I'm reacting, I don't want to react out of pure emotion, but I also don't want to react out of pure logic. I want to react out of wisdom, which for me is a wonderful, informed blend of both.
Yeah. And can I add in possibly our when we're having any of the emotions that we're having, that we're doing it this way?
Yeah.
That we're having an emotional response, but it's at the right size. It's at the right amount.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Anne, go ahead. I see you.
Yeah, I just when I wrote down what you said, but I added the word immediate.
Wait,
so
for this one here?
I respond out of wisdom, not out of immediate emotion.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Right, and that fits in very well with the 4 seconds, the 4 extra minutes I was talking about.
Right.
Is we take pause. I had and I have this on my notes here. I want to tell you a story. I was on a team at a conference, and we had about 4 minutes before we had to go to the next activity. And I said, come on, we have to get this done. We only have 4 minutes. And this woman says, she was the second in charge, and I was not in charge. So that's how the hierarchy was. And this lady says, Rabbi, we don't just have 4 minutes. We have 4 spacious minutes. And I will be honest, my first reaction was to want to punch her in the throat.
Oh, wow.
But she was right.
Of all the places.
Well, I get the irony. But we have the ability to add spaciousness. And in the tradition from which I come, this is Shabbat. This is a Sabbath. And that Abraham Joshua Heschel talked about the Sabbath keeping the Jews more than the Jews kept the Sabbath. That it's this idea that we intentionally take time, make spaciousness. that gives us a holy life, that gives us a sense of something transcendent. So if I were me, which I am, I would have on my piece of paper, which I do, a little bit of wisdom about making spaciousness. Maybe that's the thing that you take from this service today, this idea of making spaciousness. Maybe you have a little note that says respond, not react. I don't have that quote anymore. Hold on. We're going to do something completely different. You guys up for something related but completely different? We haven't done this in a really long time, and it feels like a great thing to do towards the end of the year. Oh, come on, magic. Robert Brault wrote this. There is no effect more disproportionate to its cause than the happiness bestowed by a small compliment. There's no effect more disproportionate to its cause than the happiness bestowed by a small compliment. I
don't understand it.
Okay. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
The happiness that a small compliment can give is gigantic, especially when considering how small it was, the gift. I give you a small compliment, but it's received at a magnitude so much larger than the size of the effort that it took me to give.
Right.
Watch this. Michael, I thank you deeply for asking when you had a question. What I give is this big. What Michael hears, we can find out.
No, it saves me a lot of struggle.
Right?
To try to.
What I give for a small compliment is this big. What is heard is this big.
Yeah. Yeah.
You all have a computer in front of you or a phone. I know that because you're not here in this room with me. I'm going to ask you, and the people on Facebook, you can do it right in Messenger. Take a moment, find a person in your contact, and give a small compliment. Let's take a minute. Find a person in your life to whom you can give a small compliment, and do that right now.
Very good.
Thank you for being
I think
you.
this will also count as our minute of gratitude.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you for being you. I just overheard you say that, Jack. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for being you. What a small compliment. But how disproportionate to how it's heard. Thank you for doing that. When we're talking about what we were just talking about spaciousness, and how the service is not about entertainment, it's about wisdom and transformation. When I look back 190 services ago, oh my God, was I trying to entertain you? I really like the way the service has evolved.
And could I add one little thing? I like the way the service is evolving.
Yes. I have one other piece on my. We're doing really well on my notes. I've been crossing things off as we get to them. I have one other thing to add in, and it's a story, and it's not. I don't know how it ties in, and I really wish this would all tie up with a bow, but might not. Larry, who taught me about the curve and allowing yourself to just be on the struggle bus while you're on the struggle bus. Larry's wife, Ann, taught me something, and I don't know that this is true for all time, and you might have arguments with it, but I have found this to be a very useful idea. Ann says, hold on, we got a little extra microphone action happening in some parts of Zoom land here. Ann said, you can tell someone to do something 3 times, but then you have to stop. I have a friend who I think should be writing. They have brilliant stories to tell that are transformational. And I have told this person that they need to write. Now, according to Ann, and it's really helpful, I only get to tell this person 3 times this thing that I think they need to do. What's good about that is it shuts me up. Because it's not really up to me what it is that they do. It's really for them to decide. Now, I cheated some, and I told the friend that this is something that Ann said, and then I said, and I've added a stipulation that that's 3 times per year. So I have another week of not telling them that they should be writing, and then January 1st, I will be back up their butt telling them they need to be writing.
Hold a writing class.
So, but I think you understand the wisdom in telling someone is that at a certain point, it's not, they didn't ask. If they ask, that's something else. But if we're authorizing ourselves to tell someone something, we got to be careful about doing that too much because they're not going to want to hear it from us. Okay, we're going to take a quick little spin into the land of emotions. Hold on. Land of emotions. Before we do that, no, we're going to do that. I'm going to give you this. I did not prep this fully, but I'm going to give you what I got. Anger tends to come from when we don't get what we want and when we get what we don't want. Anger is we didn't get what we wanted, or
She knows.
we don't want what we got. Anger is a way to quickly communicate that our rights and our safety have been violated. So we get angry to communicate that. And we all know the wrong ways of getting angry. We've talked a lot about that. That's anger. Sadness. Sadness happens when we've lost something. Sadness enables us to communicate to the community that we need help. You hear somebody crying, you naturally want to help. Why? Because that's what sadness is. Sadness is about communicating to other people our need for help. Fear. Fear prepares us to take an action. It prepares us to act. We are born with only 2 fears. We're born with the fear of falling and with the fear of loud noises, the fear that comes from loud noises. All other fears are learned. That's a little hard to swallow, but it's true. most everything that we are afraid of, we have learned to be afraid of, which means that we can conceptually think our way out of some of the things that we are afraid of. Fear is, there's a natural reason to be afraid when walking on ice, but sometimes we distort our fear and we don't go outside of the house at all. It's too much.
Agoraphobia. Yeah.
Love, fearophobia. Love is an emotion of being seen, of we want to do more to feel loved. Love is being seen for who we are. Seeing other for who they are. I'm going to add in one more. Jealousy and envy. I put both words. It's a natural emotion to see somebody has something you don't have. It is natural to want that. It is actually how we learn. All of our learning, not all of our learning, but a lot of our learning, most all of our learning is seeing somebody has something. And Annie saw Emmett go pee-pee in the potty. Annie wants to go pee-pee in the potty too because she's jealous. She's envious of someone who's able to do something she can't do. Annie being Annie, she will figure out exactly how to do it as soon as she realizes that someone can do something she can't do. That girl, boy, she's got it. Sometimes people refer to these in opposite ways from how I'm about to first say it. So sometimes people say that jealousy is the unhealthy form of envy, that envy is the thing that helps us to grow and to learn, and jealousy is the thing that makes us want to knock down their tower because we don't have a tower at all. And sometimes people put it the other way, that jealousy is the thing where we want to learn and envy is the one where we want to knock them down. Either which way. Those are 5 basic emotions. There are more. They're all related to our needs. Hold on, I got one other document on my desktop that relates to all of this because I need to have this at hand. Please hold. Oh, remember last week I said I was going to get a new computer and upgrade? I tried doing that. And this computer got really jealous and seems to know that I was doing that and started shutting itself down. It was great. Here are my notes. This is not presentation ready, but it's how I have them. 4 main feelings under feelings. Is that in focus clear enough to read?
Not really.
So.
Hold on.
Oh, much better.
Can we read that?
Yeah.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
See it.
Okay, now I can read it.
Okay, great. So feelings, it says, are not equal to verbed. I feel like you're not listening to me. That's not a feeling. Uh-oh. Feelings, the main 4, according to nonviolent communication, are mad, my needs were violated. Glad, my needs were met. Sad, I lost something that I needed. And afraid, they say it as afraid, so it rhymes with mad, glad, and sad. Thank you for laughing, the 3 of you who did. Mad, glad, sad, and afraid. Afraid is that there's a threat to what I need. We'll leave that part there. Okay.
Wait, open up a can of worms.
Yeah, I'm okay with worms.
Eat
Let me see
worms
where
and
we
die.
are. I lost the ability to see everyone. There's everyone again. Oh, Maria, did you spotlight me for that?
I had spotlit you for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Small little compliment. Yeah, but thank you. I forgot that was the thing that we do, and you just did it. So thank you.
I think opening up emotions is opening up hearts, not worms.
A heart full of worms? That sounds
No,
like...
a heart full of emotions, not worms. No worms.
Yeah, because
No
a heart
worms
full
and
of worms
emotions.
sounds like the disease my dogs get,
Yeah.
which we're not doing. Okay. I had a thing. Here, I sent this out before the service. Hey, gang, did you see this in the announcement for the service?
Yep.
Yep. It's great.
Which one do you need to unlearn? To ignore my own boundaries to please other people? To make myself smaller to fit in social situations? To pretend like I'm fine instead of asking for support? Believing in my self-worth depends on my productivity?
Yeah.
Societal standards of beauty and diet culture bullshit? Sacrificing my own voice beliefs to avoid conflict? How many of us are not celebrating my accomplishments because others have better ones, or we don't want to stand out? Seeking external validation over self-assurance, and distracting from hard feelings instead of processing them. If you don't already have something picked out for what you're going to work on between now and December 30th next week, pick one. Pick one. Write it down and work on it this week. This is exactly that quote that we had earlier about spiritual stamina. The goal is to develop spiritual stamina so that when a problem occurs, we don't just react, we respond. So let's pick one. Let's work on it. Everyone on their own terms. Missy Solomon, what say you?
Well, I just wanted to say, I love this things I'm unlearning. I particularly like that there's all these little flowers next to them, because like I got all of those depending on the day, and the
You have a
situation.
bouquet.
Yeah, I do. It's a lovely bouquet, but I love the little flowers next to them because it just kind of, took some of the sting out of it as I was reading them and going, oh yeah, that's me. Oh yeah, that's me. Oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Let me give you a quote from Andrea Gibson. We try hard to do good, but we should try softer.
I like that.
That's what the flowers are there to remind us. Let's try softer. That's what the 4 minutes I gave to you is about. Trying softer. I'm not going to do it, but were I to say your name right now, people on Facebook, would you know which one of the things it is you're going to work on for next week? Some yes, that's fine. Let's move ourselves towards prayer time. Maria?
Oh, okay.
You able to do that?
I am.
Thank you.
These are the people to whom we are sending light and love. Patty in spirit and Ray, Rita S., Greg, Ann, Rob B., Sheridan H., Randall M., J. and R., Bruce and Mary Lynn Hayes, Barbara C. and Debbie, Karen, Bill, Sandy and Sean, Michael Watkins, Barbara Wise in spirit, Mary Ellen, all the people who are lonely and sad, Nick and Julie Olson, the Steve Fetter family, Jen Dobbs, Jason Padilla, Sherry G., Candace and Kiddos, and a wish for peace in our hearts and peace in the world. If there is another person in our community to whom we can offer light and love, please put their name in the chat and I will add them to the list in the clubhouse. And for the people who aren't named, but who are in our thoughts, we send them light and love as well.
Thank you, Maria. We're going to take a minute of time right now. Think about all of those people.
Darn, Joy. Alice.
Thank you for that minute. I'm going to direct our attention. I'm going to light a memorial candle for our friend Patty, Ray's beloved. And I'm sorry to say that in the last few weeks, we all had some practice learning about mourning and dump out, comfort in, and about how not to greet mourners. And I'm glad for it that we had some prep talk beforehand. And Ray asked if I would light this candle and say the traditional Hebrew Aramaic prayer, which I'm going to do right now in honor of our friend Patty. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbi v'yamad divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayachonu v'yomechonu chayei dekol Beit Yisrael bagalai zman kari v'imru. Everyone says Amen.
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 Yehei shmei Rabbi mevarach le'alal al mei amaya yitbarach yittabach yitpa'ar v'yitnaman yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudashah b'richu. Le'alam min kol berchata b'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'ama v'imru. Everybody, Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama Rabba min shemayim v'yal kol Yisrael aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imrumav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yal kol b'nei Adam v'imru. One more time. Amen.
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 May God give peace to those who mourn and comfort to all the bereaved among us. And one more. Amen.
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 Take a moment. Look down at a piece of paper in front of you. What is the piece of wisdom you're taking with you? What is the thing you're going to be chewing on? The spiritual workout that you have for yourself to do between this week and next week? What do you got? Go ahead, Ron.
Kind.
Oh, to not be productive for the sake of being productive.
Amen. I wish that goes really well.
It's tough.
Melissa, you said something.
How do you know my name was Melissa?
I'm Melissa.
I'm sorry.
Two Melissas.
Well, now we know Missy Solomon's just outed themselves. Let's go with Melissa in New Mexico first.
I can be kind and still say no.
Amen. I look forward to hearing how that goes. And then Missy Solomon, what do you got?
That was funny because only my daddy ever called me Melissa, but I had my hand up, so I thought you were speaking to me. And I was like, how'd that happen? I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but the one about not speaking our truth, I struggle with that with my brother because we're so very different, and Christmas Day we'll be together, and I just want to, not hide what I believe.
Wonderful.
If there's a place for it in the conversation.
Good. And you also have 4 extra minutes. I don't know if you've used any of it, but you still have that you can dole out as necessary. Al, what are you working on? What's your...
Just you reminded me that my wisdom comes from my emotions and from my rational side.
Yeah. That wisdom is both. What else?
You sit in the sorrow and the pain and ask for help.
Yeah, Ray. Thank you for sharing that, Ray. Ray, you and I talked about that emotions, they show up on their own. And all of a sudden you find yourself really, really sad. Okay, if you're offended easily, log off now. That was your warning. Hey, Ray?
Yes.
Can I tell you a joke? It's a terrible joke.
Please.
What do a man masturbating on the bow of a ship and grief have in common?
It all comes back on you.
Oh, I was going to say that they both come in waves.
Yes. That and they all come back on you because the wind's blowing against you.
Ray, it is a horrible time for you. We all are here, and you reach out to any person. If you're a person and you're all right with Ray texting you, put your number in the chat. And if he does, and then he says, you know what, I don't really want to talk right now, don't talk.
Yeah.
And Ray, you don't have to use any one of those numbers. They're there for you. Next week, I'm going to be broadcasting from San Diego. And then just a warning to you that on January 13th, it's going to be a DIY service. Just keep that in mind. I will explain and give details. I forgot to make my usual announcements. My usual announcement.
What does DIY stand for?
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
It's going to be an interesting do-it-yourself service on the 13th. It's okay not to feel okay. It's okay not to be okay. That's both true. Immediately after this service, we're going to have small groups. You're invited to it unless you're on Facebook, in which case you do your own groups. We're going to have a new group today. So we have the politics room with Jeff, and then we have another room called the Angry Politics Room. If you want to yell and scream and shout about politics, you're on your own. You go to that room. If you want to have a nice civil discussion about politics, join Jeff in the politics room. If you don't want to talk about politics, there's Deep Dive and there's the Share and Care group that are going. I'm going to thank all of you. I'm going to stop the recording.
Poetry.
Let's all wait. Oh, and there's a poetry room. There's no politics in the poetry room either, or they're not supposed to be. Let's wave goodbye to everyone. Thank you, Ron. Thank you for doing that. There's everybody. Let's wave, say goodbye. Goodbye, Facebook friends.
Goodbye.